Hello Whovians, and welcome to my latest Doctor Who review, where today I review Warrior's Gate, which is the 5th serial in Season 18. Yep, the 5th story in Season 18 of Doctor Who. And, yeah, stars Tom Baker as the 4th Doctor. This is also Lalla Ward's final story as Romana. Sad, very sad. And this is also John Leeson's final regular appearance as K9. So Romana and K9 are due to depart the TARDIS in this story. The basic plot of Warrior's Gate is as follows. A strange creature forces its way into the TARDIS, steering it into a white void occupied only by the ruins of an old building and a spaceship. This empty space is a gateway to the past and future. The creature responsible for taking them there is Byrok, a member of the enslaved race known as the Tharil. The gateway offers the only exit from E-space, but the void is contracting. Are the 4th Doctor and his friends fated to spend eternity in E-space? What final shocking revelation awaits the Doctor? So, yeah, Warrior's Gate, that's the plot. It's worthy to mention that this is the 3rd and final story of the E-space trilogy, which are just a small set of 3 stories that will that are in this season. They're just 3 isolated stories set within another universe called E-space, and this is the 3rd and final story in that set. Warrior's Gate, I gotta tell you guys, I didn't like this story. I gather that this story gets a very mixed reaction, but I really couldn't get into this story. I didn't hate the story, I didn't think it was awful, but I just thought it was really slow. I just couldn't get into it. I think the biggest problem and the most common criticism that this story gets is the script. Is that it's kind of overcomplicated. The script is a little too muddled for my taste. It's a script with a lot of exposition, so I think it's a kind of messy storytelling. It really prevents it from being any from being great in my eyes. It's kind of confusing. It's kind of overbearing. You have to really pay attention to watch it, and ultimately, it's too overcomplicated for its own good, and the story drags as a result of that. And I just really couldn't get into it. I mean, I guess I liked some of the sets, with the few sets that there were, like the medieval castle and the spaceship and whatnot. But a lot of this story is filmed in front of a green screen as well. And there's just like a silver background, because they're in this void of nothingness. That's basically all we get. The green screen effects are very dated by this point, but I'm gonna forgive them because it is the classic series. They don't have a huge budget, but yeah, I think Tom Baker's good in the story. I like him as the Doctor. He seems to be fairly enthusiastic this time, although I think there are certain points when he's tiring, but he's got 2 more stories left, so we'll see how he fares towards his exit. Romana, well, yes, Lalla Ward gives her final performance as Romana, and yeah, she's good. She's very good in this story, although she doesn't really get much of an exit. Her exit is really rushed. Her and K9 basically end up staying to help the other people in the universe, and that's kind of it. I would have liked more of a goodbye between the Doctor and Romana. It just felt a little bit underdone. There was no emotional sort of resolution to that. Look, there was no kind of final, even just like goodbye Romana, we'll see you soon or something. The Doctor did say you were the best Romana or something like that, and I mean that was nice, but there wasn't much of a goodbye really as well. Also, K9 again has the same exit, and the Doctor doesn't say anything about K9, so that's a real shame. K9 just sort of leaves. I mean, John Leeson as K9, he's good in the story, although K9's just sort of there, and they have K9 not work at various points. Again, J&T just seems to have a lot of hatred towards K9 for no reason, yet he asks John Leeson to come back for this season. I still don't get that. But, yeah, I mean, K9's stuff in the episode is good. The supporting cast aren't very good as far as I'm concerned. I mean, they're all right, but they're all very one-dimensional characters. And I didn't get anything out of the villain, Rorvik. I think he's the captain of the ship. He's just kind of boring, and I think most of the characters are sort of boring to me. and the pacing really drags. I just can't get into it, really. There is not much to enjoy. The music is okay, I guess. It's well directed. I think the person who directed this story, Paul Joyce, did a good job, and I like some of the angles and some of the camera work. We get a lot of POV shots as well, and I quite like that. Tharil, we meet this character called Byrok, who's a Tharil. He basically looks like a sort of human lion, essentially. I mean, the design is pretty good, but he doesn't do a lot in the story. And there are also these robotic robotic warriors, like these armored robotic warriors. They appear in the middle of the story. They don't do anything either. The story is not particularly scary. It's just really dull. Like I just can't get into it. I haven't got a lot to say about it. Again, good production design. The script by Steve Gallagher is okay, but I think it could have really been simplified on a number of levels. I forgot to mention in my Leisure Hive review that Christopher Bidmead, who was the script editor, actually rewrote a lot of the Leisure Hive, and he was also responsible for some of the problems in that story. He does the same here as well. I think he does the same here. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that now, because I know some people mentioned in the comments that I'd forgotten to talk about that, so sorry. I didn't mean to, I just forgot. Adric as well. Adric is, once again, Adric gets nothing to do. He's basically there in the TARDIS for most of the story, and then he's with K9 for the next bit, and then he kind of joins in the end. Like, it's like they've written this character in and they don't know what to do with him. Like, he doesn't gel with Tom Baker and Lalla Ward, and he just comes across as a bit of a know-it-all once again. I mean, he's not quite as annoying as he has been in the previous two stories, but he doesn't get anything to do in this story, and again, it was kind of pointless to really have him in there. So, there's a few good performances, and there are some good ideas in the story, but unfortunately, this is a pretty terrible Doctor Who story as far as I'm concerned. When I finished watching it, I used to think it was okay. Like, I thought, oh, maybe it's all right, but no, I don't really like it, because I don't think the exits for the companions are that good either. So, it's a real shame. It's a real shame. But anyway, that's kind of all I'm going to say, so I'm going to close off by giving Warriors Gate. I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Four out of 10, yeah, because there are good performances in it and some good camera work and some interesting ideas, but it's a very boring Doctor Who story. I mean, you can hear it in my voice. I'm not enthused. Enthused by it, and I don't think a lot of people are. There's a few people that like it, and that's fair enough. But I respect their opinion. But I just personally couldn't get into it very much. Okay, so that's kind of my overall summary of Warriors Gate. So stay tuned next time when we review Tom Baker's penultimate Doctor Who story, The Keeper of Traken, where we are also introduced to a new companion, I believe, known as Nyssa. So that'll be interesting. And then in Legopolis, we're introduced to Tegan. And then Tom Baker is going to be finished. Yeah, so I've got 2 more reviews of Tom Baker. And then Peter Davison. Although I am planning to take a break. But I'll talk more about that when I get to the next couple of reviews. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching this review. And what do you think of this story? Please comment down below and let me know. If we disagree, that's fine. But can we just please keep comments polite? Thank you. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'm Mr. TARDIS11. See you soon. Bye for now.